Okay, let's just dive right into this, guys. Welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we're unpacking a literal paradigm shift happening in the world of video post-production. We are looking at the absolute explosion of next-generation AI video tools here in 2026. And look, this isn't just some cute software update. We've completely crossed the threshold. AI video has officially graduated from, those weird morphing internet toys to deploying true enterprise-grade production powerhouses. It's fundamentally changing how stories are brought to life on screen. And that sudden leap brings us to a pretty provocative question. Is traditional video editing actually dead? I mean, think about those late nights spent meticulously nudging tiny blocks around on a timeline, adjusting a cut by literally a single frame, over and over again. With a massive shift from that kind of manual tweaking to just typing a descriptive prompt, a lot of people in the industry are wondering if those old ways of cutting are just obsolete. Can a simple sentence or a voice command really replace the entire craft of traditional post-production? Well, we're going to look at the data today and find out exactly where the dust is settling. So here's our game plan for today. We'll start by looking at the end of an era, then we'll meet the new 2026 heavyweights, weigh speed versus creative control, and finally look at the hybrid editing future that the smartest creators are adopting right now. All right, part one, the end of an era. Because to really understand where we are right now, we've got to look back at a massive shock to the creative ecosystem. So, in early 2026, OpenAI absolutely stunned the industry by shutting down its flagship tool, Sora. On March 24th, they announced the shutdown. By April 26th, the web and app operations were totally dead. And on September 24th, the developer API permanently closes up shop, taking all the project data with it. Why did this happen? Well, it all comes down to compute costs. Video generation is unbelievably compute-heavy. The model has to render physics, lighting, and temporal consistency frame by frame across these massive GPU clusters. That hurdle gave Sora an estimated burn rate of $15 million a day. Compare that to just $2.1 million in lifetime revenue? Yikes. It was a total technical marvel, absolutely. But economically, it just couldn't survive the jump to a commercial product. But hey, the tech industry hates a vacuum, right? Which brings us to part two, meeting the 2026 heavyweights that immediately stepped up to fill the void. Looking at the current market leaders, the transformation is just undeniable. We've got titans right now, like Google Veo 3.1, Runway Gen 4.5, Kling 3.0, and Luma Ray 3. Compared to models from even a year ago, production costs have plummeted by over 90%, and the quality is off the charts. And that massive cost drop, that's a real game changer for profit margins and rapid iteration for creators. Each of these tools has carved out its own specific superpower too. Let's actually take a closer look at what they can do. First up, Google Veo 3.1. This thing is the current gold standard for hyperrealism. And a huge part of that dominance is its crazy ability to generate ambient sound, dialogue, and environmental audio completely simultaneously with the video. Think about the hours usually poured into sound design, hunting down Foley effects, laying down atmospheric tracks, syncing lip movements perfectly. Veo 3.1 literally does it all at once. No secondary audio layers needed after the fact. Combine that native 3D spatial audio with 4K output, and you've got an absolute powerhouse on your hands. Next, we've got Kuaishou's Kling 3.0, which has basically become the holy grail for budget-conscious creators pumping out high volumes of social media content. At just 7 cents a second, it is a whopping 65% cheaper than Sora was. But the real magic here is how it handles multi-shot sequences between 3 and 15 seconds long. You know how AI characters used to randomly change jackets or completely morph when the camera angle shifted? Yeah, Kling 3.0 practically eliminates that. The character consistency across angles is unmatched right now. Now, for the traditional filmmakers out there, Runway Gen 4.5 is your best friend. This isn't just a slot machine where you hit generate and cross your fingers. It is built for pros who need real, fine-grained control over a scene. With tools like Motion Brush 3.0 and Director Mode, you get exact precision over camera pans and tilts. Imagine telling the AI to just move the reflection on a car windshield while panning the camera totally independently of that reflection. That's the level of cinematic control we're talking about here. Oh, and we definitely have to shout out the newcomer that's flying up the benchmark charts right now, Cdance 2.0 by ByteDance. This is a quad-modal tool. That means it processes text, images, video, and audio all at the exact same time. The standout feature here is their universal reference system. Basically, you feed it a character, an art style, and a camera move, and it completely locks them in across an entire sequence without anything drifting. It's an incredibly strong foundation for building longer, cohesive storylines. All right, moving into part 3, speed versus creative control. We've got all these amazing generative models, but how do they actually stack up against traditional nonlinear editors like Premiere Pro or DaVinci Resolve? So here is the core tension. On one side, AI editors use conversational interfaces and prompts to just blast through tedious tasks, getting you rough cuts up to 90% faster. But on the other side, traditional NLEs still rely on that manual, timeline-based workflow. Yes, it's slower, but you get uncompromised granular control over literally every single pixel. And crucially, you get offline capability. Think about a major studio like Marvel. They absolutely cannot risk leaking unreleased IP by uploading raw footage to a cloud AI server. For those secure environments, offline security isn't just a perk, it's a hard requirement. But let's put speed to a real-world test. When you look at producing a standard 3-minute social media rough cut, traditional editing takes about 45 minutes of manual labor, scrubbing footage, making cuts, syncing audio. An AI editor, it can knock out that exact same rough assembly in about 5 minutes. That is a massive difference. If you're running a marketing campaign and need 50 variations of an ad this week, that 40-minute time savings per video completely changes your ability to scale operations. Now, don't get it twisted. Traditional editing is absolutely not dead. Understanding where AI fails is super important. AI still really struggles with authentic, nuanced human emotion. It'll often land right in the uncanny valley during dramatic scenes. It also completely misses the point of intentional stylistic errors. Think about those chaotic, energetic crash zooms in an Edgar Wright movie, or the rule-breaking jump cuts of the French New Wave. A human uses those for artistic effect, and AI will usually try to fix them, completely ruining the vibe. For real artistic intent, human intuition is definitely still king. Which leads us straight into our final section, the hybrid editing future. How are the smartest creators and studios actually blending these two worlds together? Well, they're adapting aggressively. According to a 2026 industry survey, nearly half, 47% of professional video editors, are now using at least one AI tool in their daily pipeline to handle the boring, repetitive stuff. And we aren't just talking about solo creators in their bedrooms. We're talking top-tier agencies and Hollywood assistant editors. They aren't fighting the tech, they're absorbing it so they can free up their own mental bandwidth. Seriously, if you take away just one thing from this explainer today, let it be this workflow. This is what the modern pipeline looks like. Step 1. You use an AI tool for the heavy lifting, auto-transcription, silencing dead air, rough assembly. Step 2. Export that as an editable XML project file. That XML part is the secret sauce. It gives you fully separated, unbaked tracks. Step 3. You pop that file into Premiere or Resolve, and the human editor steps in to nail the emotional pacing, the color grade, and the final creative polish. There's this fantastic quote from the research that I just love, because it beautifully redefines what's happening. It says that this tech isn't rendering us obsolete. It's eliminating the mechanical friction of post-production, transforming editors into director curators. You're no longer just a manual operator clicking away all day. You're orchestrating these incredibly smart systems, guiding them with your own unique taste and vision. So, I'll leave you with this to chew on. These AI models are moving at breakneck speed, and the industry is simply not looking back. The transition is already here. The question is, are you going to cling to the timeline exactly as it used to be? Or are you going to step up, adapt, and become the director-curator of this new hybrid future? Ultimately, the true power of these tools comes down entirely to the human behind them. Thanks so much for hanging out with me for this explainer, and keep learning.